Morning. Thank you for joining in this webinar provided by Signifikant and PDS Vision about the future of the aftermarket. We are looking at trends for the aftermarket, and the big trend for the aftermarket is, of course, the digital transformation of data and the digital transformation of functionality. We have mentioned some levers here, some aspects of digital transformation of the aftermarket, and you could see these as sequential, but there's no need to take these in this order. But if we look at this, for a long time ago when the internet started, almost online catalogs came out on the market. Soon after, people understood that we can use this channel to sell our spare parts, and the e-commerce made this entrance. Nowadays, there are many channels. It's not enough to have a cataloging solution. Here's where we start distinguishing us as an aftermarket platform, where we can gather and enrich aftermarket information in one place and then publish it to many channels. Then, if we have these channels and we have all these functionality in place, we can start using the data that we gather to even more enhance the service to our customers. And then finally, on place number 5, when we have this flexibility of adding more channels, of having more data, more information, we can start looking at new business models, how to use these digital transformation to change our business.
Sorry, if you have any questions, please write in your questions in the question bar on the side, and we will answer your questions at the end of the session.
Excellent. So if we go back to the number 1, the online catalogs, this is like everybody's looking at today, what most of the companies have today. And it's, of course, very important to have a good online catalog. Here we have an example of our customer, Atlas Copco. They make tools for the manufacturing industry, and they have a wonderful online catalog to show their tools, to show different kind of information, accessories, spare parts, service kit, but also service tools. So it's an excellent tool for a service technician to find the correct spare part, or as a company to offer kits that conclude or include a number of spare parts that belong together or that you want to stock together and sell together. So this technology has come very far. It's not a trend anymore. It's something that you basically should have in your company today. Different look and feel of the spare part catalogs, if it's different brands or different markets, different information. So there we are very happy. We have come very long. We also have a number of competition that create these kind of catalogs and in such way present spare parts information and service information. And then what happens? If we look at the trend in online catalogs, then we would say that there is a new group of users coming up, the millennials, not only as an end user, but also as a service technicians. And they are not so patient. If they get a user interface, it should work the first time, it should work very well. So they have a very strong desire on ease of use, they have a very strong desire of good design, and if it will not work, they will not use it. So we need to take the next step in online catalogs and make them millennium-proof. But at the same time, our technology is aimed at professional users. So we cannot go all the way and make it beautiful only. We must still be for a professional user. It must be minimize the number of clicks and make it an effective tool to use with. So that is our challenge here, to create beautiful, nice designed online catalogs that work on the mobile phone, but that also are very effective. So that about online catalogs. The trend is really into ease of use, design, user experience. If we look at the next step, the e-commerce, there's of course this started in the business to consumer market with web shops, very nice web shops where you could immediately buy your part or your product and then pay it and get it home very effectively. This is now also brought into the B2B market. Still, a lot of companies handle their aftermarket and their service with telephone, with emails, and so on. But even here, it's going to be instant selling of spare parts. There has been a survey by Copperberry, and it's presented under the name eConnect Europe. And it says that 66% of manufacturers offer instant selling also in the aftermarket. This may not be a representative group of manufacturers for a whole world, but still it's definitely a trend for even the aftermarket to offer instant selling so that you can have it very effective. And this is important, of course. In the same survey, you can see that for 33% of the companies, more than half of their sales is actually aftermarket sales. So why shouldn't you make that as effective as your B2C website? So to be able to offer instant selling, you will need to have a tight integration with your economical systems, with your ERP system. Here is an example of our customer, Dometic. They offer, they have a portal, an aftermarket portal, which is used by their resellers, the caravan shops, and so on. And there they can, these people working there, they can instantly buy spare parts for the end users who are in the shop. And then the people who are in the shop, they can immediately see their price, the availability. They can put it in the shopping basket. They can get the exact information of the correct version of, for instance, a refrigerator. See if this part is, if there's a problem. If you can see immediately a bulletin about technical problems with a specific spare part. You can see if a part is replaced by another part, and at the same time, you can click that Add to Order button and add information about for who am I ordering it, what's the end customer, entering the shipping and billing information, and then following from the same website, the same service portal, following the order, the delivery. If there are multiple deliveries, you can follow that. You can click on the tracking URL link and see where it is, what delivery partner is actually forwarding this to your shop. And you can also see what's in the order. So this is a very tight integration, and this takes the online catalogs to the next level, allowing you to offer instant selling of your aftermarket spare parts and service information. So, and that I think that we still have a lot of possibilities, a lot of competition in companies providing online catalogs and making it possible to connect that to some kind of web shop to allow you to order it instantly. I think the next level we see here, the omni-channel sales, where you have various sales channels where you really get to the point that, okay, I don't need a cataloging solution. I need an aftermarket platform. I need a platform that can help me with all my channels. And if we look at the trends in the B2B e-commerce, we can see that a lot of manufacturers, of course, have online sales channels, both for their products and also for the aftermarket. And in this survey, it says 77%, and it says next year it will be 87%, which means that since this survey is probably a half year old, we're already above 80% of people or manufacturing having an online sales channel available. What kind of channels do they have? 52% have their own web shop. So this is the OEM, the original manufacturer, who has their own web shop, maybe bypassing their dealers, or maybe in some way doing this together with their dealers. 80% are using a service portal. This can also be only for internal use by the dealer network. It can be used by the end consumers. And 25% are actually using other platforms. So they are providing their information to a third-party marketplace, which is most likely driven by some of their dealers, and offering their spare parts through these dealers' web shops. And if you count these together, it will be more than 77%. And there is a simple explanation, is that already now 1/3 of the manufacturers actually are multi-channel. They provide their information and their spare part sales over multiple channels. Their own web shop, they have a service portal, they have Clas Ohlson in Sweden who's selling their spare parts. This requires a very good effort in the providing of the information in the platform. So if we look at an aftermarket platform, we can see here that a lot of companies have a product information management system in place for their web shop, where they have their sellable products, they have the wear parts, the accessories, and this information is enriched with all the commercial attributes and properties necessary to immediately put this information on a web shop and buy it, and then the web shop will be able to talk to the ERP system, to the logistics system, knows where the part is and make sure that it's delivered, or the product in this case. Because here we want to take it to the next part. Here Signifikant offers an aftermarket product information management system, so that you can take the aftermarket information to the same level, to a level where there's not only technical information about what products and what product versions are there, exploded views with hotspots and parts, but also this information is enriched so that it immediately can be sent to either our own service portal. Signifikant offers its own service portal, the web viewer, where we can, in a very nice way, show these spare parts and make it searchable and filterable and sellable. But from this aftermarket PIM that we offer, you can also provide this information to your web shop or to your dealer's web shop, and of course to print. We try to get rid of that. Then when on the other side you integrate with the company's ERP system, then if you show this part in any of these channels, then this part will have all the information needed by the ERP system to actually be put into an order and to be delivered, so that all the information is there. But also that the user, which can be an end user, it can be a service technician, it can be someone working in a shop as a reseller, that they get the information they need on a level, detailed level, that they need at that moment. So there we see that we start differentiating us very much against cataloging solutions, where Signifikant really has a platform where we can manage the information and then send it to multiple target applications, multiple brands, multiple configurations, look and feels, regions, languages. We can adapt the information level and also the user interface to professional users and to end users. We can handle multiple sales levels, like the OEM, the country sales office, the distributor, the reseller. We can handle that they have different price lists, work with different currencies. We can handle that there are multiple interfaces, the desktop, of course, but also the tablet, and now in the future we also start working with the mobile applications. So this we see as really the next step. So this is, I think, still, if we talk about online catalogs and e-commerce, that is starting to become mainstream. But the next step is to make it, to get the flexibility to add more channels and to not rely only on one service portal or your own web shop. So if we look at, if we come to that part that we have gathered all this information and we publish it to various channels, and various kinds of users start looking at this information, start ordering parts, and we start delivering them, then there's a lot of data to gather and to analyze. And then we can, just as the big players in this market like Amazon and Alibaba, we can start using that information to become better and to become to provide better service to our customers. So some functionality that we already today offer in our service portal from Signifikant is shown here. Google tags. Even if you are a service technician, maybe you are servicing different brands and you not always want to open the service portal of that brand. You just go to Google and you type, I want to have a for my, now I have it in Swedish in my head, but for my vacuum cleaner, I want to have this handle, and this is the model of this vacuum cleaner. I type it in Google, and in that case, you don't want any gray market seller to get up on the first level. You want actually Google to crawl into your websites and to immediately show a link that is not only going to your service portal or to your web shop, but even brings the customer to the page for that model, and maybe even show the handle and the price for it. So Google tags can help you that, and invite search engines like Google to crawl your web pages and make sure that you are not on the second page of the Google search. Google Analytics, we also support this to follow your users step by step and see what pages they find interesting, where they stop. If they're not ordering, where did they go? Why did they not order? You can analyze that information. We provide support for keeping sales statistics and to get some characteristics from that. For instance, what is most popular? What's most popular in Germany? What's most often bought by this specific customer? So when this customer comes back, you know what the customer used to buy. The customer can save templates to order again. You can start working with upsells and cross sales based on your data and your analytics. So this is a very important part of the digital transformation, that since we now have all this information, we should use it, and your competition is using it. So if you don't do it, then Amazon will do it and will may be better in selling your spare parts than you are. Another part of the data and analytics, and this is more getting into the future, but still the very near future, is the Internet of Things. We are now talking about online catalogs, showing technical information, integrating it with the ERP system so you can do instant selling. But in the end, we want the end user to have the best experience of the product. And the best experience of the product is when the product doesn't break down. So Signifikant and PDS together actually participate in a number of European research projects. And one of them is to get the service portal connect through an IoT platform directly to the appliances. In this case, it is washing machines, so that from when you log in as a service technician, you can immediately see how is this machine doing, what is wrong. But this can also be used for predictive maintenance. So this is a mock-up screen, but we actually have this implemented. We presented it last week in Slovenia for Gorenje, who is the company making the washing machines. But this is a typical view that we want to provide as a service organization, servicing a number of machines, and they can see how the machines are doing, if they should be scheduled for service, if they are broken. In this case, you can see some tools that are red, they are broken. We should immediately go out and fix them. But more interesting, we have machines who have yellow. That means that we can still get there and fix it before it actually gets broken. So the service technician gets there, and from the service portal, where he or she can buy these spare parts, can also hook up to the machine and actually see how the machine is doing. Maybe not even need to make a visit. Maybe the problem can be solved by a software update or by calling the customer and instructing them to perform certain measures to make sure the machine is not breaking down. So that is the future, but still the near future of service portal and the aftermarket. There's the predictive maintenance. Has been talking about predictive maintenance since the 80s, but now with the use of big data and machine learning, it looks like that it may happen actually, and not only stop in research projects. So this is something that PDS Vision is working a lot with, and as said, we are involved in a number of research projects. So please ask us or PDS about these research projects in the area of IoT platform, but also of circular economy. And that brings us to number 5 of the digital transformation levers, where we see that with this flexibility of multiple channels, with this information that we can analyze, we can actually, or you can look for new business models. Maybe you want to go to a business model where you're not selling machines anymore, but you're selling functionality, or so a truck company who is selling transportation capacity, or as in the research project that we are working with, a washing machine company that is not selling the washing machines, but selling pay-per-use. So they install the washing machines for free, but you pay while you're using it. And this, of course, these new business models have an effect on your relation with your dealer network. You may need other kind of partners. You may need a different kind of dealer network. So this is not something that you do very quickly. There is another, I would say, company that is breaking in and maybe forcing you to change your business models. Do you have Amazon, who's moving into the business-to-business market and offer what they are best at? A very good search, very quick delivery, transparency, and putting down the prices, very high price competition. And they might, if you don't join them, they might fight you and sell your spare parts in cheaper, and you will get less profit. So what's the impact of Amazon? It's interesting, in this survey that was done by Kopperberg, more than 64%, that might be 65% then, of the manufacturers consider selling platforms like Amazon as an opportunity to grow revenue. So definitely it could be a very good way if you have made sure that you have good information and good information is where everything starts, then you can use the good information and send it to a platform like Amazon, and make sure that you actually take help from them, and people find your spare parts and can buy it, and can maybe also use the logistics of Amazon, so that you get a quick delivery. So a lot of manufacturers see this as an opportunity. But as I said, there is a very important, you have good information, you have consistent information. That's actually, we have a webinar in about 2 weeks, I think, about just that topic, about how to get good information so that we can provide that information to all the channels we want to provide it to. But of course, Amazon is not only an opportunity, it's also a threat. This is one statement, that if Amazon business only commoditizes a handful of small, high-margin items, it can severely impact distributors' net profit margins. They can do the cherry picking, and then you and your distributors will be left by selling the parts that may be sold once a year, and that's not good business. But as Jeff Bezos has said, your margin is my opportunity. So definitely there is also a threat, but maybe you can be ahead of that threat. And we see two possibilities to be ahead of that threat. One is to add Amazon to your channels and sell through Amazon. And the other one is to make use of the advantage you have over Amazon and over gray market parts providers, and that is the information. Make sure that you have the information about your product, you have good information, so that the service experience through your web shop, your partners' web shops, your service portals is much better than the service experience through any other channel that might be out there. And as I said, I think it's September the 12th, we have a webinar about this aftermarket PIM, aftermarket product information management systems, and how to get good data, and how to ensure that that good data can then be sent to multiple channels. So to conclude, I think to have a successful business-to-business e-shop, you should support self-service tools, one-click order. Even your service technician should be able to immediately fill the basket, order it, and be sure you have the logistics to deliver it quickly. You or your partners, of course. Personalization, tight ERP integration, we talked about it. Powerful search and filter based on data and analytics that you have gathered, and provide experiences for different roles and permissions, for end users, for service technicians, for sales people in a shop. They should have different level of detail, different kind of information. And again, everything is about information. So making sure that you have this central product information management database where you have the information, all information on a part, and then you decide what of that information to use in what situation, or your system will decide that. So that's what we're aiming at, and that's where we have come very long way. I think that what I've been showing here, 95% is actually already today possible with our platform, and the other 5% is what we are working on and will have very soon available for you. So that was it for me. I hope you have some questions, and we can take them and answer them.
Thank you, Ruud. Thank you everyone for joining in, and I hope you have a better insight on what the future of the aftermarket is like. Like Ruud mentioned, we have another session on the 12th of September, and it's a follow-up session which focuses more on your aftermarket data. How do you use this information to your advantage, and how to be able to work with this rich content that you have. If you have any questions, please write it in the questions tab right now, or you could drop us an email and we will get back to you. I will give it a minute or two if anybody has any questions. Okay, if there are no further questions, I would like to thank you all for joining in this morning and this afternoon if you're from geography, which is not in Europe. And we will share the link to this webinar, which can be accessed at any point. And you will also have access to the slide deck. So it is there for your reference whenever you need it. And thank you again very much. Thank you, Ruud, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a good day.